GBS.
A very good afternoon. It is exactly 1 p.m. here in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, and you are just in time for the ambassador. With me, Ambassador Susan Ng'ang'a. Here is where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. To our first story, and that is good news from Kenya. The Kenya's diaspora remittances soared to a historic high of 638 Kenyan shillings in 2024, according to President William Ruto and data from the Central Bank of Kenya. This marks a significant increase from 516 billion Kenyan shillings in 2022 and 542.9 billion Kenyan shillings in 2023, representing an 18% year-on-year growth. The government is acknowledging a powerful force in Kenya's economic engine, the Kenyan diaspora. President William Ruto says the contributions made by Kenyans living and working abroad are not just significant, they are the single largest source of foreign income for the country. Speaking at State House, Nairobi, where he hosted representatives of Kenyans from 27 countries, President Ruto revealed that remittances sent home in 2024 hit a historic high of $4.95 billion. That's roughly 638 billion shillings. To put it in perspective, that's more than the nation earns from tea, coffee, or even tourism. These remittances don't just support families, they are fueling investments, stabilizing the economy, and boosting the country's foreign reserves. And it doesn't stop there. Through the Labor Mobility Program, nearly 400,000 Kenyans have secured jobs abroad over the past 2 years.
You've also allowed us, Your Excellency, under your guidance to set up the global labor market strategy that structures government's response to the issue of unemployment and the global labor market. Under your guidance, sir, in the last 2 years, the diaspora has grown by 400,000 because of people who are going to find these opportunities. And you've struck.
The president noted that the government now knows exactly who these workers are, where they are based, what they do, and what they earn, a move aimed at better supporting them.
In just 16 months, actually to be exact, not even 2 years, in 16 months, we have placed 393 as of when, Rosalie? As the end of April, 393,000 Kenyans on jobs abroad. And now we know them. We know where they are. We know what job they are doing. We know how much salary they are earning. And we can account for each and every one of them.
To make the process easier, the passport application system has been streamlined. Now, successful job applicants can get their passports in under a week.
Going to work abroad, we are going to do several things for you. We have now created a green channel for the people who want to have a passport to go and work abroad. If you have a letter of employment, within 2 days, maximum 3 days, you have your passport.
In a major cleanup of the recruitment space, Ruto announced that over 1,000 rogue agencies accused of defrauding job seekers have been deregistered. The president had a special message for Kenyans living abroad. Be proud ambassadors of Kenya.
I want to ask of you that you speak about your nation well. You know, there are people who go out there and they speak as though they have another country. This is our home. This is our nation. We were put here by God deliberately. We are not here by accident. Let all of us make a contribution towards making Kenya better.
He urged them to represent the country with dignity and help attract investment back home. Oil prices stumbled and global stock markets rallied on Tuesday after U.S. President Donald Trump claimed Israel and Iran reached a ceasefire. While Tehran denied a formal deal, signs of de-escalation boosted investor confidence and eased fears of broader conflict in the Middle East. Here are the details.
President of Alexis Investment Partners suggested the steep decline could be tied to investors quickly reversing previous bets on rising prices amid Middle East tensions. The easing fears of a potential blockade of the Strait of Hormuz, a critical route for global oil, has helped calm the markets.
Again, a lot of that is people that maybe put on some hedges because they were worried that the prices were going to go up significantly. Now they got to unwind those hedges. It's probably a little bit of an overreaction at the moment. So expect some volatility there, but we don't expect huge spikes.
Global stock markets responded positively to the signs of de-escalation. Benchmark indexes in Tokyo and Hong Kong rose more than 1%, while South Korea's Kospi jumped 2.5%. Tech stocks led gains in Japan, with Tokyo Electron up to over 4%. As risk appetite returned, traditional safe havens like gold also dipped, with prices falling for over 0.5% in Asian morning trade.
Tensions remain high in the Middle East. Israel's military says Iran launched multiple waves of missiles earlier today, just hours after United States President Donald Trump announced a complete ceasefire between the two nations aimed at ending the 12-day war. Witnesses reported hearing explosions near Tel Aviv and the southern city of Beersheba. Emergency services confirmed that 3 people were killed in marking the first reported deaths in Israel since the ceasefire was declared late Monday. The Israeli arm says a total of 6 waves of missiles were fired from Iran.
Explosions rocked Qatar's capital Doha on Monday after Iran launched missiles targeting a U.S. airbase in the city. The attack came as response to U.S. airstrikes over the weekend that hit Iranian nuclear sites. Those strikes happened after the U.S. joined Israel's air campaign against Iran. But just a few hours later, U.S. President Donald Trump took to his social media platform to announce what he called a complete and total ceasefire between Israel and Iran. He praised both countries for what he described as the courage and wisdom to end the 12-day war.
Iran, the bully of the Middle East, must now make peace. If they do not, future attacks will be far greater and a lot easier.
Trump also claimed Iran had warned the U.S. in advance of the missile strike in Doha, something he said helped avoid any casualties. Earlier that same day, Israel carried out an airstrike on a political prison in Tehran, signaling its continued readiness to target not only Iran's military and nuclear facilities, but also key government infrastructure. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister posted on X that there is no official ceasefire deal yet with Israel. He added that Iran is ready to stop its attack if Israel halts its airstrikes. Shortly after that statement, Israel's military said missiles alerts were sounding again due to a new launch from Iran. We will continue to monitor the developing story and bring you the latest on the fragile and uncertain ceasefire between Israel and Iran. Reporting for GBS TV, I'm Paul Elmine.
Thank you, Paul, for that detailed report. The ambassador will now take a short break. We'll be back with even more.
a student can transition from other curriculums, such as the Kenyan CBC curriculum, the Pearson Edexcel curriculum, and the IB curriculum, to the Cambridge curriculum.
Today is all about models. So girl, I listen, you tuned into Art Club, the best archery in the whole of East Africa.
My name is Abigail Paula, but on my socials I go with Peaches Paula. Yeah. I did procurement and logistics.
How do you deal with those negative comments? I'm a rejection.
Yeah.
How do you advise it?
But the heaviness of it, rejection is redirection.
Now you were crowned Miss Kenya UK.
Yeah.
Lakini before we get there, I want to know your journey towards that title.
Started with Miss Freshers.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I ended up being the first runners-up.
Hello, kids. Did you know a year has 31,557,600 seconds? Why do you think so? Exactly. There are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, and 365 and 25 days in a year. We count the extra 0.25 because of leap year. When you multiply all those numbers together, you get a huge number of seconds. That's why a year feels long, but time still flies when you are having fun. Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back to the bulletin now. King Charles III of Britain welcomed Ukrainian President Zelensky to Windsor Castle in London before Zelensky meets Prime Minister Sir Starmer, where they will talk about the Russian war in Ukraine.
King Charles III of Britain yesterday welcomed Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the Windsor Castle before hosting the Ukrainian leader at his Berkshire royal residence ahead of the leaders' meeting with the United Kingdom Prime Minister Sir Starmer in London in the afternoon. All this comes ahead of the NATO summit scheduled to take place this week in London. President Zelensky and Prime Minister Starmer are expected to hold a talk on the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Zelensky has visited London several times since Russia invaded his country in 2022.
Do you want a handshake? Would that be helpful?
Would you be kind enough to do a handshake?
Thank you so much.
President Kuzberek.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Meanwhile, as President Zelensky is in London, in Ukraine, Russian drones and missiles killed at least 10 civilians in an overnight attack. 7 people are reported dead in the capital Kyiv, while emergency crew raced to search for people believed to be trapped under a partially collapsed apartment building. Victor Ujun, the ambassador.
A groundbreaking chapter begins in Olympic history. For the first time, a woman and an African has taken the helm of the International Olympic Committee. Kirsty Coventry, a decorated Olympian from Zimbabwe, was officially inaugurated as IOC president of the organization 131st anniversary. Our sports reporter Elvis Muyodi takes us through the historic handover and what it means for the future of the Olympic movement.
On the 131st anniversary of the International Olympic Committee, a history moment unfolded. Kirsty Coventry, a two-time Olympic gold medalist from Zimbabwe, was inaugurated as the first woman and the first African to lead the IOC. In a ceremony held in Lausanne, Swaziland, outgoing President Thomas Bach handed over the reins after 12 years in office. He praised Coventry's Olympic spirit, calling her leadership by the values of sport.
You have placed your trust in someone whose life story is deeply rooted in the Olympic movement. As an Olympian, she knows what it means to live the Olympic values. She knows how to lead with courage. She is driven by a desire to give back to our Olympic movement that has shaped her life. Now she makes history, Mrs. Kirsty Coventry.
On her part, Coventry expressed deep gratitude, vowing to lead with courage and a commitment to the athletes and the global Olympic community.
I am really honored that I get to walk this journey with you, and I cannot wait for anything that lies ahead because I know I have the best team to support me and our movement in these next 8 years. Thank you so much for being here with all of us today. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for the next 8 years as we take on this journey. Thank you.
As she begins her 8-year term, guiding the movement through the events like the LA 2028 Games, Coventry brings a fresh vision rooted in inclusion, unity, and the enduring power of the Olympic dream.
As the Olympic movement, as federations, as NOCs, as our sponsors and our partners, we are the guardians of this incredible platform. And it's not just about a multi-sport event. It's a platform to inspire. It's a platform to change lives. And it's a platform to bring hope. These are not things taken lightly. And I'm looking forward to working with each and every one of you to make sure that we continue to inspire, continue to change lives, and in our divided world today, continue to be a beacon of hope.
Elvin Muyodi, GPS Sports.
Great news indeed, and we are proud and congratulations. That's all for today here at The Ambassador. Thank you for joining us as we cover the latest developments. We'll continue to bring you these updates and more as they unfold. Remember, this is The Ambassador, where we debunk global diplomacy and geopolitics. I have been your Ambassador Susan Nganga. Have a good afternoon.